And breaking at 11, newly released video shows the chaos on a college campus moments after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. That shooting happened as Kirk hosted his American Comeback Tour event. He was on the campus of Utah Valley University. And live pictures tonight show Washington, D.C., where President Donald Trump is among the many people who are mourning Kirk. American flags at the White House and across the country have been ordered to fly at half-staff until Sunday. Here is what we know at this hour about the investigation into Kirk's death. The search for the suspect is still ongoing tonight. The FBI had a person of interest in custody, but that person has since been released after being interrogated. Investigators say the suspected shooter fired potentially from a roof on campus. And according to the Associated Press, immediately before the shooting, Kirk was taking questions from an audience member about mass shootings and gun violence. Kirk co-founded Turning Point USA in 2012. The organization was created to advocate for conservative politics on high school and college campuses. Georgia Tech was one of several institutions that had a local chapter.